In Angular, components often need to communicate with each other to share data, trigger events, or synchronize states. Here are the key ways components can communicate in Angular. 1. Input and output properties. addInput allows a parent component to pass data down to a child component. The child component defines an addInput property, and the parent binds to it. addOutput allows a child component to emit events back up to its parent component using an event emitter. This is used when the child needs to notify the parent of an event or state change. 2. Service with dependency injection. Shared service, a common way for components that are not directly related, i.e., not parent-child, to communicate is by using a service. The service can store data and provide methods that components can call to share data. The service can use behavior subject or subject from RxJS to notify subscribers of changes. 3. ViewChild ContentChild. addViewChild allows a parent component to access a child component's properties and methods. This is useful for direct communication when the parent needs to access specific methods or data from a child. addContentChild, similar to ViewChild, but used when you want to access a component projected inside another component using ngContent. 4. Parent-child via template reference variable. Template reference variables, Hashvar allows access to a child component directly in the parent's template without needing addViewChild. It's a simpler alternative for one-off accesses. 5. Angular router, route parameters and query parameters. Route parameters, components can communicate through route parameters when navigating between them. For example, a parent can pass data to a child through a URL segment. Query parameters, data can also be passed using query parameters in the URL, which can be accessed in the components using the activated route. 6. State management libraries, example NGRX, Akita. NGRX or similar libraries, for larger applications, state management libraries can be used to manage states centrally. Components can dispatch actions to update the state, and other components can subscribe to state changes. This approach is particularly useful for sharing state across multiple components in a scalable way. 7. Local storage session storage. While not a direct Angular-specific feature, using local storage or session storage is a way to share data between components, especially if they belong to different parts of the application and don't have direct communication paths. Components can read from and write to storage, allowing communication through shared persisted data. 8. Event bus, using RxJS subjects as an event bus. RxJS subjects behavior subjects, a service can act as an event bus using RxJS subjects. Different components can subscribe to a subject to listen for events, while other components emit events to the subject. This method decouples the components, allowing for event-driven architecture. 9. Content projection with ngContent. When using content projection, the parent can project content into a child component. This allows a parent to provide content or data to a child dynamically, which the child can render. Useful for creating reusable components where the content can vary based on the parent's needs. 10. Input setter methods. An addInput property can have a setter method in a child component, which allows for executing logic whenever the input value changes. Summary of communication techniques. 1. addInput and addOutput for parent-child communication. 2. Shared services with RxJS for sibling components. 3. addViewChild and addContentChild for direct access between components. 4. Template reference variables, Hashvar, for accessing child components. 5. Router parameters for passing data during navigation. 6. State management libraries like NGRX for global state management. 7. Local storage for persistence-based communication. 8. Event bus using RxJS for decoupled event handling. 9. Content projection using ngContent for dynamic templates. 10. Input setters for executing logic when an @input property changes. Each method has its own use cases and is best suited to specific scenarios, ranging from simple parent-child relationships to more complex state management across multiple components. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with more tech updates. See you in the next one, and happy coding!